Jordan. Welcome to Kate's Kitchen Party. I just wanted to welcome you and say thank you for coming. Today we've set our table up at the Aquatarium in Brockville in the Lighthouse Theater. And so I just, this place is amazing. I really love I really love this place, actually. I love the fish. And I really dig Justin Bieber. I'm not going to lie. I think he's super cool. But we're very lucky that we get to film here. It's really nice. On that note, I want to just welcome you and give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Big honor to be famous. It's the dream. My name is Jordan Ross. I am a Brockville born and raised local who I moved away to Ottawa for a couple years for school and then somehow found my way back here.
As most people do.
Yeah, that seems to be how it goes. But such a wonderful little town to be in. That's really a bit of a hidden gem, and some of us who have spent our entire lives here definitely haven't been able to appreciate that as much as we maybe should sometimes. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you want to know about me?
Let's start with your background. Like, what is your what do you do? Like, what do you love to do?
What do I love to do? I've always been a pretty outgoing and creative person. I'm an only child, so that creativity kind of sparked from childhood, having to be, really imaginative, not having any built-in playmates. And I just love all things fun and adventure. I love putting myself out there. I love people. I love, some of my hobbies are, I'm a huge musical theater dork, so that's something that's kind of followed me throughout my entire life.
Lucky for you, we live in a town that loves its musical theater.
Yes, absolutely. Very, very lucky for that.
The first time I ever, you and I hadn't met yet, but the first time I saw you, you were in Little Shop of Horrors with the Brockville Operatic Society. You were one of 3 do-up girls.
Yeah.
I remember that very clearly, and I was like, that's something I've always wanted to do. And then I thought it was really cool that I love community theater. I think it's very neat. And actually, that was the play that inspired me to try out for the Brockville Operatic Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was some inspiration there.
There totally was.
I like that.
The moment for me, the one that it was like, oh, I want that moment. It was when Heather Jones did the. What is it? Little Green...
Somewhere That's Green.
Somewhere That's Green number from Little Shop of Horrors. And
Absolutely.
She just belted it out. I was like, oh, yeah.
I want that. I could do that.
I want to try that. And it's funny because right after that, I tried out for the Heroes and Villains thing. And then I think I kind of fangirled a little bit when Heather was doing the auditions. I was like, oh, you were
that's the girl, that's
you
the
did
one.
The thing. And then and I told her that. I was like, oh my gosh, that was the moment that inspired me to come and try out. And I think they thought it was endearing, which is why I ended up doing the Heroes and Villains thing. And they gave me my moment on stage.
Absolutely.
It was super cool.
Don't what's the word I'm looking for? Undermine that moment that you had. That was a wonderful moment. I remember sitting backstage every time you went on and did that song, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
It was a really hard song. It was really
you nailed it.
Because when they were handing out the songs, and I was listening to playlists because they do those Spotify playlists. Like, oh, these are the songs that we're going to be doing. Start practicing and listening to them. So I started listening to them, and I was listening to Bette Midler because that's the version that I was like, oh my God, that is a really hard song. I feel so sorry for who has to perform that. And then they're like, okay, you're going to do that one. And I was like, oh no.
You manifested it.
I did.
You spoke it into existence, and it happened.
I was like, now I have to do it. No, it was good. It was a really good moment for me. And I really appreciated that about the Brockville that they gave me that chance. It was a bit of a gamble. Somebody who's never performed before, to give them that big a number. And I just, it was really cool. It was super cool.
Yeah.
And I totally get where your love of theater comes from now, having witnessed both sides, because I'm used to being in the audience, but having been on the stage, it's such a commitment. And so I have a lot of respect for people who do that. Just because it's such a time commitment, and it's
Absolutely.
your energy and like the relationships and everything. It's very emotionally. There's a lot invested in those shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, but it's so very rewarding.
Yeah.
As a kid, I definitely tried to be like that sporty kid that,
Yeah.
you know, I played soccer, I played basketball. I tried out basically every sport, and unfortunately was horribly brutal at basically all of them. Yeah, I guess, you know, the dream of a 5'2" basketball player is not in the cards for me. And then it wasn't really until I was in probably like the 5th grade or something that I decided, like, well, I always loved singing. My mom loved singing growing up, and we would always do that together. So then whenever an opportunity arose at school to, you know, try out for a play, I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
could do this. And then the first show I was in was Pinocchio with my school when I was like, I don't know, 9 years old.
What role did you have?
I was just in the ensemble for that
Okay.
one. I was honestly like, it's interesting because that was like my first real show, but the details around it, I don't actually remember much. I think because there were so many kids and they brought in, you know, they wanted to give the opportunity to everyone who wanted to be
Yeah.
there, which is something that's really magical about community theater. Just the how included everyone becomes.
Yeah.
So I think like at one point I was playing like a fish, and at one point like maybe I don't know, I was like a fairy or something, and just like always switching around and having something for the kids to do. It's really really empowering for
I would pay
kids.
money to see you playing a fish in the play. I'm not gonna lie. I would
Yeah,
really
I
like
can
to
do
see
it.
that.
I can do it. Yeah. But then after that, it's really true what people say about theater, because once you're in it and once you do one, you get that itch for it, and it's just something that, you know, you might take a break from it for a couple of years whenever life gets busy, but it's something that's kind of in you. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you're signing your kids up for musical theater, just be prepared that it's most likely going to be like a lifelong passion.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Finding a lifelong passion when you're little. I mean, it's one of the things that I really hope for my kids, that they can find a lifelong passion when they're young and follow it, and actively pursue it. Because I feel like when you're little, if you have something that is truly meaningful for you that you can commit to and pursue, it's character building, and it teaches you how to commit to something and how to, and then you build those relationships that follow you through life.
Absolutely.
Right. I don't have a ton of friends that I have a handful of friends that I knew from elementary school. A lot of them are in Ottawa, and we still, you know, keep in touch and stuff. But, I get like you, I was on sports teams. I tried really hard. I did. I tried really, really hard. But then as you get older and it gets more competitive, you kind of ride the pine a little bit more. And
Exactly.
and I ended up finding horseback riding, which was my thing. You know, eventually I really got into it, and it was the thing that I really loved the most. And then when I, you know, applied for university and had to move away and everything, the horseback riding kind of went on the back burner, and I never returned to it because kind of life gets in the way.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing that I love about the theater is that you can find it just about anywhere you go, and you don't have to carry an entire trunk of equipment with you, right?
It's true.
And it's not super expensive either, right? It's the time commitment, it's the love investment, it's the people investment, and it's something that it grows confidence too in people, right? That it's a team sport, really. At the end of the day, it really is a team sport without being traditional team sport, right? You're relying on your theater people in so many ways.
For sure.
To know what they're doing and to answer and to know their cues and to be where they're supposed to be and to show up to practice and to do rehearsals and to commit to it, and that's really important for kids to learn.
Oh, absolutely. It's something that definitely teaches commitment, because, you know, like I was always the kid that was coming up with little plays or skits on my own, and, you know, forcing my parents and anyone else who would listen to just stop what they were doing for 10 minutes so I could put on this play for them, but actually being part of the community, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's something that like you have to have the passion for, but it's something that to so many people is so easy to have like that commitment towards.
Yeah.
Even in a show, whenever you're maybe not the lead, or you just have a smaller part, there's so much togetherness that comes along with it, and like each person has to lean on everyone else.
And you still have to be there, right? You still, I mean, you're at just as many rehearsals as the lead, and you have to be on your mark, and or else it just doesn't come together.
Exactly.
And so it is this kind of magical thing. And I remember, because I've only experienced it one time as an adult, right?
We'll reel you back in.
And so I'll never forget like the nerves that I felt.
Oh yeah.
Moving from like the music theater where we were kind of doing all our rehearsing and stuff, and then putting it on stage, and like how scary it was to actually be on the physical stage for the first time. And I remember the first time I performed my song on stage by myself, and I blew it. In my mind anyway, I blew it. It was awful. I'm like, oh no, I'm not ready for this. I felt so much pressure. But then the night that first night that I got to go up there and do it with everybody in the audience, it was, I don't know what it was. There's like this thing that happens when the lights are down in the house and you have that spotlight on you, and you don't even see the audience, really. It's just you on the stage, and it's like this, I can't even explain the feeling. It's wild.
It is pure magic. That's really what it's made of.
Yeah.
I think that even without being able to, see the audience out there, because like you said, on the first time that you actually tried it out on the stage, like there wasn't an audience.
No.
You were basically up there by yourself doing it.
Yep.
And but then it's interesting that you say that during the night, like with the spotlight on, it feels like there's nobody there and you're still there by yourself doing it.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting, because I think without being able to see it, it's just like that's part of the magic of it, really being able to feel like the support.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly
it's truly
it.
amazing.
Yeah, it's something that you definitely absorb while you're up there. Anyway, we're gonna pick this conversation up shortly. We just have to take a quick break, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.